cashless society. Physical cash will no longer exist in the year 2030. Through digital currencies, every one of your purchases and dealings will be monitored in a system. This poses a question. Is this for the greater good, or does it lead us one step closer to a social credit system? From the earliest days of human civilization, trade was based on the exchange of goods and natural resources. But as society evolved, so did the way we transacted value. Imagine a time when trading a sack of grain for a jug of milk was the norm. But as society grew, the limitations of bartering became apparent. Enter physical currency, coins and paper money that brought efficiency and simplicity to transactions. The first known currency was thought to be the Mesopotamian shekel, which emerged around 5,000 years ago. The transaction from bartering to currency marked a pivotal moment in human history, enabling economies to flourish and expand with ease. Fast forward to today, where cash is no longer king. The rise of digital payments revolutionized how we exchange value, from contactless cards to more convenient methods. Enter Apple Pay, a trailblazing example of digital payments. With just the tap of your phone, you can pay for your groceries, coffee, or taxi fares. The implementation of this has led to many businesses not accepting physical cash as a form of payment. This merely touches the tip of the iceberg with the progression beyond physical cards and phones needed for payment. This is evident in America with a Palm payment system being implemented. Stores such as Whole Foods have included this in 200 of their locations and will soon be in all stores. Initially thought to rely on scanning the hand's surface pattern, the actual mechanism involves employing infrared light to interrupt the user's vein pattern. A comparable payment approach has been in use in Sweden for several years, wherein a chip is implemented between the user's thumb and index finger. These parallel methods have now been adopted in more than 20 countries. More sophisticated techniques have been introduced in China, including facial and voice recognition. At the point of checkout, customers would position themselves in front of a facial recognition device to facilitate their payment. As for voice recognition, users can verify their identity by uttering a designated phrase, and the system cross-references the voice print for authentication. As we advance, all nations will adopt one or multiple types of biometric payment methods. So what's the reason for incorporating these methods? The advantages of transitioning to a cashless society are unquestionable. Among the most apparent benefits lies the substantial reduction in tax evasion and shadow economies. Digital transactions create a distinct digital footprint, complicating efforts by individuals and businesses to conceal income and evade tax payment. This will lead to increased revenue for the government, subsequently channeling resources towards public services and the execution of developmental initiatives. Another crucial advantage of curbing the extensive realm of crime and corruption that currently plagues our world, according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, the scale of the issue is monumental, with estimates suggesting that a staggering 2% to 5% of the global GDP, amounting to approximately $2.21 trillion gets funneled through the complex networks of money laundering each year. By embracing a cashless framework, a new level of resilience would be instilled in our financial systems, rendering them less susceptible to the illicit activities that presently exploit them. The elimination of physical currency from the equation constitutes a formidable barrier against money laundering and other clandestine dealings. As transactions seamlessly integrate into digital systems, the cloak of anonymity that cash transactions afford would be lifted, making it considerably harder for individuals to surreptitiously launder ill-gotten funds. Moreover, the once thriving underworld of drug trade and other illicit transactions would face a substantial impediment. Each exchange, whether lawful or illicit, would be recorded and tracked within the system, making it increasingly difficult for unauthorized activities to go unnoticed. The adoption of a cashless society would yield significant savings by obviating the need for printing physical currency and eradicating the circulation of counterfeit money. As traditional cash gives way to digital transactions, the expenses associated with designing, producing, and distributing paper currency would diminish considerably. This would free up resources that could be redirected towards more productive endeavors. Additionally, the inherent security features of digital transactions substantially mitigate the risk of counterfeit currency infiltrating the financial system, further safeguarding the integrity of the economy. Cons. While there are indeed numerous advantages, the shift would also introduce an array of disadvantages. Among these, one of the most prevalent concerns arises from the erosion of privacy due to pervasive surveillance and control. With each financial transaction subject to tracking and monitoring, this paves the way for authorities to view citizens' expenditures, daily movements, and potentially even their political engagements. Such an intrusive surveillance apparatus could erode personal liabilities, casting shadows on the horizon of a future where dissent may be stifled. This issue extends further into the realm of financial autonomy. In the absence of tangible currency, individuals would find themselves entirely reliant on digital payment systems governed by banks and governments. In accordance with this notion, there's the apprehension that such a setup could render it simpler for authorities to freeze or confiscate accounts, ultimately yielding authoritative control over fund accessibility. Yet, perhaps the most daunting specter looms in the form of susceptibility to cyber attacks. In a landscape dominated by electronic transactions, the threat of a cyber onslaught gains prominence. A single major attack could potentially paralyze the economy, leaving individuals devoid of access to their financial resources and casting them into uncertainty. The real reason for the progression. Beneath the veneer of change, a more profound motive underlies the government's decision to eliminate physical currency and establish a digital currency framework within their economy. This underlying motive revolves around the introduction of a comprehensive social credit system, which, in essence, entails a shift of authority from the populace to a select group of global elites. The mechanics of this social credit system are intricate, involving a nuanced interplay of various factors that extend beyond mere financial transactions. Key components include citizens' day-to-day behaviors, their interactions within society, and their digital footprints resulting from online activities. These elements are amalgamated to compute scores that subsequently determine an individual's entitlement to an array of privileges, encompassing everything from financial services, including freezing one's bank account, to travel opportunities. This paradigm shift has the potential to catalyze a transformation in social dynamics. Those who align with the expected norms and behaviors could find themselves reaping the rewards of their conformity, receiving the proverbial keys to enhanced opportunities and privileges. However, the flip side is equally stark. Dissenting voices or behaviors deviating from the established norms could be met with punitive consequences, effectively curbing individuals' liberties and expressions of opposition. In this envisioned scenario, the terrain of society takes on a new topography, one where compliance is incentivized and nonconformity is chastised. As the pursuit of personal freedoms and alternative perspectives could potentially lead to lowered scores and resultant disadvantages, the fine balance between collective harmony and individual autonomy becomes a central focal point. The advent of this social credit system raises profound questions about the trajectory of personal agency, societal values, and the intricate interplay between authority and the governed. As we stand at the crossroads of a cashless society, we find ourselves grappling with promises and perils, innovation and caution. The journey from trading resources to a cashless society reflects the relentless pursuit of efficiency, transparency, and progress. But as we forge ahead, we must tread carefully, embracing the benefits while safeguarding our privacy, rights, and the essence of what makes us human. The future is both uncertain and full of potential. It's up to us to navigate this uncharted territory with wisdom and discernment.